the heart of most creative work is purposeful play. The best definition that I've heard so far about play is from a psychology book, which says that play is really a flow state where we're reaching this optimal balance of opportunity and challenge given our skill sets. And it's really the ideal human state because we're completely absorbed in the activity at hand. Lately I've been really interested in magnets and their effect on iron fillings and how they react to magnetism and various sound waves. This editorial illustration piece for the New Republic seemed like a great opportunity. They said we had completely open creative freedom to do whatever we wanted in the shape of an ampersand. Using photography in my work, I can create objects or design sets and create the final result, whether it be an illustration, an ad campaign, or a video piece. The computer is an amazing tool in the creative industry, but it's not always the right one for every single project. Sometimes you can get even more interesting results getting off the computer and working with your hands. We start the iZone campaigns determining what maxims or proverbs that we want to use, and then based on that, we all strategize and bring those words to life. Once that's approved, then comes the hard part of actually producing these images. It's often quite a big process involving stylists and hairstylists and photographers and behind-the-scenes video artists, so they're quite big productions creating these lines and making them come to life. I actually don't think that designing for fashion is much different than for any of our other clients. I really see all our various projects that we work on at the studio as unique problem-solving challenges. For Ashti, we wanted to portray luxury, sophistication, elusiveness. We started off by running an image of their prized orange gift box, which is quite well known in that region in the Middle East. Over time, we started adding in fashion models and manipulating the box in various ways. iZone is the younger line to Ashti, so the images really needed to feel more youthful, playful, and stylish. We originally worked under the limitation of making everything black and white, which is how we designed their identity and store materials. But over time, this creative constraint evolved into working more with these typographic maxims. So last season was the first one where we introduced color. We decided to kick off the color theme with throwing around holly powder and having some powder wars around the studio, which was quite fun. I think that illuminating the color palette can be a great aid in creating a memorable visual language for a brand or for a campaign. In Portugal, where we redesigned EDP's identity, anytime someone sees basic shapes or simple iconographic imagery using red, they pretty much know that it's from EDP. Any of their promotional or advertising materials becomes like one giant logo without even having to show the logo or ever say the company's name. 19 years ago, when Stefan first launched his studio, Sagmeister Inc., he sent out a nude photograph of himself. When it came time to announcing our partnership last June, we decided to kind of make a remake of that original mailer. Within an hour of sending out the email blast, we were getting thousands of blogs and retweets and messages from people all over. So in that aspect, it was quite a functional piece of design. I admired Stefan's work long before I started working with him. His work always touched me in some way, whether it was through beauty, wit, humor, or even the shock value of some of what he was doing. And not much graphic design these days does that for me, and since that's the kind of work that I wanted to be doing as well, I always really wanted to meet up with him, and see if there was a way that we could collaborate together. I would say through working with him, I've absorbed a lot of knowledge, particularly on how to run a design studio and how to successfully get good work through to your client, because you can be a super talented creative and do amazing work, but if you don't know how to talk about it and sell that to the client, then no one's ever going to see it.
I actually had found a list in my diary of things I've learned in my life so far. After the first client, for a year, we actually started to get clients that gave us an incredible amount of freedom. That list was sort of like a safety ring, because I knew that it was true for me. We got great feedback. We did a second one. We got great feedback on the second one. And then it sort of self-perpetuated. People came to us and said, we want you to do a Meckes for us.
I think that's part of what attracted me always to Stefan's work and the studio's work. My mom actually had hand-painted signs all around her house with various proverbs and idioms, some of which we've actually used in like the ISO campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been fun working on them.
I could go far further, lots of times, and would wind up with better work. And there's plenty days when I'd much rather, I don't know, do something non-risky, just because it's the safer, easier. So the days when I get my shit together and say, no, let's really do take a risk. And it's those days when stuff comes out of it. I haven't had a bad experience yet in taking more risks.